Right, a very good morning. You're still very much on to Oluyole 98.5 FM on the stables of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Welcome you to Conversation this Tuesday morning, the 16th day in the month of June 2026. Our conversation here is where we bring you stories making the major headlines in the dailies. We do our best to give you top-notch analysis. In due course, we get to open the phone lines. We invite you to be a part of our little talk shop. Together, we try to make sense and understand those major events unfolding around our country, our nation, and our world. And that is why the program is called Conversation. Our thoughts, views, and opinions is what you will be hearing from us at our end here as presenters and analysts, not the corporate views of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. And of course, we are networking on Okogo FM 96.3, our sister station in Alaga in the Okogo of the state, Agility FM, Gambari, Ubumosho, on the 92.1 FM dial, and no one beats our reach all over this great state. We are there. Beyond the state, we are there. Beyond the shores of Nigeria, just latch on. We are the social media platforms, Facebook precisely at BCOS, and you are on to Conversation. Once again, wherever you are listening across the world, you are welcome. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akombi. Thank you very much for joining us on the program Conversation on Oluyole FM 98.5 right here in the city of Ibadan. Of course, we are also live streaming Oluyole 98.5 FM, and when the time comes for you to contribute your own little quota on the talk shop, it will be advisable to go straight to the point and no foul languages. Yes, Tola. Let's just start off here now.
Straight to the major headlines and the meat of the news this morning.
Yes, we have the Nigerian Tribune, the Punch, and the Vanguard here.
Right, I have a headline before me here. Update on the retired General Abbey and wife hostage taking saga. Well, it's no longer news that General Abbey is dead, died from health complications in the captives den. But then the update now looks like some good news. It says troops rescued General Rabe's widow. And there's a picture speak here. The woman being aided by troops inside what looks like a military vehicle now after she was rescued. Okay, let's see the details here. Go to page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Defense headquarters on Monday confirmed the successful rescue of Mrs. Amina Abubakar, wife of the late Major General Rabi Abubakar, former Director of Defense Information, who was abducted by bandits alongside her husband a few weeks ago. Now, according to a statement made available to defense correspondents in Abuja by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Samala Uba, Mrs. Uba was rescued by troops of the Nigerian Army with the support of the Nigerian Air Force. According to the statement, the rescue operation followed intensified search and rescue efforts conducted by troops of Operation Fason Yama. It explained that during sustained offensive operations and pressure mounted on the criminal elements, troops made contact with the bandits at Tunga village, leading to the successful recovery of Mrs. Abubakar. In the course of the encounter, the bandits shot Mrs. Abubakar before abandoning her and fleeing due to the overwhelming pressure from advancing troops. Mrs. Abubakar was immediately evacuated and is currently receiving medical attention at a military hospital where she is responding to treatment, the statement said.
So I was about to ask that, yes, like you said, none of them was captured, none of them was now
was neutralized.
Neutralized, yes, and that explanation, I think, gives some insight to what really happened. They knew already that these the military personnel are around, both on air and on ground, and they shot the woman at the somewhere and fled. I think straight inside the bush where they cannot be. Maybe they could not be reached at that point, but I don't know.
There's nothing like they cannot be reached, but that's what the soldiers are trained to do. That's their job.
Because I believe some should have been neutralized or captured.
and they should have, yes, the major objective of the operation was to recover Mrs. Abubakar, to rescue her. But having that done, I think part of the operation should also have been pursuit of the bandits. They shouldn't just leave them to flee into the bush and then come back again to cause another carnage.
Or go to another region to cause another problem.
And from what the viral videos we saw, it wasn't just Mrs. Abubakar and her husband that were in the captivity of the bandits. This story doesn't tell if those others were rescued or maybe they were murdered by the bandits. And now, yes, the most important thing, well, the fact that Mr. Abubakar has been rescued, well, kudos to men of the Nigerian army for that, and we should acknowledge and hail them for that feat. But then, at the same time, on the flip side, I'm also kind of taking this story with a pinch of salt as to whether it was actually a rescue operation, because like I said, I'm wondering, as always, that kind of rescue operation, and none of them was captured. By the terrorists, and none of them was neutralized in the process. And well, they had enough time to shoot Mrs. Abubakar, but then if this is about ransom, what I'm thinking in my mind is that maybe she had been shot before now and was already nursing the gunshot wounds. Maybe another case of ransom payment, and they are not telling us the truth. But then you said that the terrorists must have known that the soldiers were coming. Well, I don't think that. I think the element of surprise was there, but then maybe they still had enough time to shoot Mr. Abubakar and then flee before the arrival of troops. But then, like I said, there are still questions waiting to be answered. Number one question, like we said, why weren't any of them captured? And that's the usual thing. We hear that they fled into the bush as usual, and for them only to return again to come and perform another carnage. Then, like I said, the others who were also in captivity with Miss Abubakar and their late husband, what happened to them?
That is it. And what I'm thinking is, if there was an element of surprise, yes, they wouldn't have had time to, shoot Mrs. Abubakar. They wouldn't have had time to shoot the woman. So I believe they knew that they were coming. Yes.
Then why did they wait? If they could have done this before, why did they wait all those weeks until General Abubakar died in captivity?
And he was a retired Major General, or Brigadier General. Yes, Brigadier General, retired. And I know anybody retired from the army, yes, anything that happens, the military will, just rise up and, go to war with anybody. But it took a long time before this happened. The general was died in captivity.
So it means this rescue operation would probably not have taken place if General Abubakar had not died. But this one says federal government arraigns over 600 terrorism suspects.
Yes.
As court sentences terrorist doctor to 30 years imprisonment. Or sends farmers to 15 years jail for concealing information on Boko Haram. Well, the federal government on Monday reaffirmed its determination to combat terrorism and insecurity across the country as it commenced another phase of terrorism trials involving more than 600 suspects before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja. Now, speaking to journalists after the arraignment proceedings, the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, said the ongoing prosecution demonstrates government's unwavering commitment to tackling terrorism. Well, he says there are a total of 600 suspects to contend with for this phase. And I'm looking for that part where he was talking about farmers being okay. Now, responding to questions on whether any convictions had been secured, Fagbemi confirmed that convictions had been recorded, but declined to provide the exact figures, noting that the proceedings were still ongoing before multiple justices. Multiple justices. Meanwhile, Justice Emeka Nwite has convicted and sentenced one of the terrorists, Bello Liman, aka Alhaji Bello Doctor, to a total of 30 years imprisonment on the 2-count charges preferred against him. He was accused of concealing information which he knew would be of material assistance in securing the apprehension of Usman Sani Kachala, a leader of terrorists in Nigeria. that if you fail to disclose such information to any law enforcement or security officer, thereby committed an offense of Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013 and punishable under the same law. He was accused on count 2 of rendering support to terrorists in Nigeria by serving as an illegal doctor to Usman Sani Kachala, who is a leader of terrorists. Now, a 55-year-old farmer in Borno State, Ali Mustafa, was also sentenced to 15 years imprisonment for concealing information on the activities of Boko Haram sect in his Katara village.
Well, the son here, that is Prince Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. Yes, he is the one leading the legal team prosecuting the defendants before the Federal High Court in Abuja. And he said these trials, yes, it is sending a clear message that the present administration was not treating the issue of terrorism with levity. Let me quote him here. Since the inception of this administration, this is the fourth phase that we are undertaking. So the message is, let everybody know that terrorism in whatever form or shape will not be tolerated or condoned. We will fight with every drop of our blood to ensure that we make Nigeria a safe haven for everybody.
As they've been doing.
And for this phase, for today's proceedings, that was yesterday, we have about 490 cases. Tomorrow we will have 84 cases, but these 84 do not include the 102 that were brought forward from the last phase. So in total, we have 600 plus cases to contend with for this phase, and we have been assured by the judges that they will do their utmost best to ensure that they clear these cases, the AGF told newsmen. And it was also disclosed that 10 judges of the court had been assigned to sit and hear the cases until Thursday.
One question I have for the AGF, the Attorney General, is that what qualifies these 600 terrorist suspects for trial, while another 270 terrorists in Borno State have been rehabilitated,
yes,
have been given vocational training, have been treated like kings in training camps, vocational training camps, and at the end of it all, they are being reintegrated back into society. Not caring whether or not the people in those communities actually wants to see them back. So I'm wondering, why are these 600 being tried and being made to face the law, and those ones are running free? And that's the number one question I want to ask the AGF. And regarding Mr. Kachala, the terrorist kingpin, now they are saying they are accusing the terrorist doctor of concealing information that will have led to his arrest. Well, whereas we all know that Mr. Kachala is not in hiding. He's a terrorist kingpin in Katsina.
Yes.
The man is not in hiding. The government knows where he is, and they negotiate with him regularly.
And he's been working free.
They talk with him, they negotiate with him regularly on hostage matters. So I don't know why the doctor is being solely blamed for concealing information. The man is not on the run. That is the truth. He's not on the run at all. So, and as for the farmers who are also been accused of concealing information, now I wonder what would have happened to in that part of the country. You release information you have on Boko Haram to the authorities in a situation where even soldiers, when soldiers are on the move, that information about their movement to either neutralize or apprehend the terrorists is often leaked to the terrorists themselves. The terrorists are usually, most of the time, a step ahead of even the security agencies. You now expect a farmer to go and leak information to the... you can imagine what will happen to him if the Boko Haram elements get to know, and they will eventually know that he was one that leaked the information. Until we tackle all these things, all what the AGF is saying, Bimbo, I think he can say it to the Marines. I'm not impressed.
Well, then I have this one here still talking about kidnap issues now. This is coming from Kwara State. Kidnapped Kwara monarch dies in captivity after 18 million naira ransom payment. The traditional ruler of Olayinka community in Ifeludun local government area of Kwara State, Oba Salman Aweda, who was kidnapped from his palace by terrorists on April 17, 2026, has been confirmed dead after payment of 18 million naira ransom out of the 21 million naira demanded. It was also gathered that the community had brought 2 brand new motorcycles and provided 100 liters of petrol demanded by the kidnappers, yet he was not released. It was learned that when community people sought to speak with the monarch, the terrorists demanded additional money, at which point they suspected that they had died while in their den. Sources said his death was announced in a voice message obtained from a member of the community committee that had been involved in ongoing efforts to secure his freedom. Tola, I see something. I see something here. Yes, I smell a rat. Yeah.
Okay, now for that, the people of those that particular community, now imagine the federal government now going to accuse them of collaboration and concealing information about bandits when the government itself was not forthcoming on the rescue or other negotiations or rescue operation to free this traditional ruler. Obviously, from what we are reading here, the government was nowhere to be seen or found. That was why it was the community itself that raised that amount to try and free their leader. For the government to now turn around and say that, oh, they are aiding terrorists and they are, oh, really? So many of these things happen because the people would rather negotiate, they would rather pay, the farmers would rather pay levies to terrorists, they would rather pay levies to protect their communities because of the failure of the system. When they look behind them, those that are supposed to protect them are just not there. So, and then when you ask them, the government too, they will say they cannot be everywhere at the same time. So what option do you leave for those local communities? Well, it's sad that another person, another prominent person has died in the terrorist den. And like I said yesterday, and like I said day before yesterday, we should not wait until they get to a situation where people, Nigerians, will say enough is enough and they will resort to self-help. It is the beginning of chaos, because that kind of option can never be organized. And those who have the capacity to wage organized war against these elements, the government should allow them, the politicians should allow them to do their job. They are not incapacitated. I refuse to believe that narrative. I refuse to believe that the terrorists are better armed than our soldiers and our troops that have performed excellently well in international theaters of operation all over the world. We were quick to go and neutralize the coup in the Republic of Benin very recently. We were in Sierra Leone, where we restored the democratically elected government of Tijan Kaba when soldiers tried to bring down that government. We were in Gambia, and it only took our Air Force hovering over the skies of the capital of that country for Yahya Jammeh, who did not want to step down after he lost elections, to flee. So we are now telling me that some good for nothing criminals, some beasts, are better armed than the Nigerian military. Oh, really?
Well, they might not be better armed, but they have sophisticated weapons. Yes, they have. I saw a clips yesterday, and I was surprised.
Bimbo, if they were that sophisticated, they would have attacked that Sorok by now. They would have overrun the Nigerian government if they were that well armed.
Well, because the clips I saw yesterday saw rocket launchers, anti-aircraft guns. Imagine,
which is also very available to the Nigerian military.
Yes, but where did they get
Tucano jets? Billions have been spent on weapons, even from outside the country. Part of the reason the Americans are angry with us, because so much has been spent. Apart from money, so much has been delivered in terms of weaponry. What is happening to all that? So, rather the like I said, the inept ones among the northern governors, the irresponsible ones among them, and I have no regrets calling them that. They try to sit down and make peace deals with criminals.
Yes, to some other stories now, Tola. Or you have any other stories pertaining to security here? Talking about the opposition.
Can go to politics now.
Yes, the 2027 battle. The opposition, they have reached, has court scraps ADC and 4 other parties.
And they should be agreeing with people. All along, people, I did not want to believe the narrative that it was the powers that be that want to stifle the powers, the ability of other parties to throw punches in the ring when it comes to election time. But then, what like you said the other time, Bimbo, I'm also spending a lot regarding this, Bimbo, and I see the hands of should I say body now in this. I'm beginning to suspect that there is more to this than just because I don't get it, Bimbo.
Ordinary deregistration. There is more to it than that.
There's Atiku, Obi, Adeleke, ADC kick has cut orders INEC to deregister 5 political parties. And Alhaji Atiku says it's manifestation of President Tinubu's bid to undermine opposition. And another rider, this will further erode public confidence in Nigeria's judicial system. That's coming from Peter Obi. And ADC, well, ADC is flexing its muscles. ADC rejects order vows to be on the ballot in 2027. Ditto for Governor Adeleke, he has faulted the ruling and is insisting that Accord will contest August poll. Well, it depends on the legal technicalities and the framework that will determine whether they will indeed be on the ballot or not. It is either that will determine who agrees going to be on the ballot. So you cannot force yourself on the ballot if the electoral umpire determines that you are not going to be there. But
let's see the names of the parties there, which the ruling invalidated. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, Accord Party, Action People's Party, Action Alliance, and Zenith Labour Party. Those are the parties for now. Well,
Governor Adeleke has faulted on the basis that it is also a breach of previously existing legal frameworks. It says Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has described the Federal High Court judgment deregistering 5 political parties as a violation of a subsisting order of the Court of Appeal, insisting that the ruling amounted to an abuse of court process. The governor, in a statement issued on Monday through his spokesperson Malam Oluyole Rashid, expressed surprise that the Federal High Court proceeded to deliver judgment despite an order of the Court of Appeal staying further proceedings in the matter. According to Adeleke, the appellate court had already intervened in the case and specifically held that the delivery of judgment remained part of court proceedings, thereby making any further action by the lower court subject to his directive. The governor stated that records presented before Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court showed that the Court of Appeal, in its proceedings of May 22, 2026, had pronounced that the delivery of judgment is still part of the proceedings of the court. Well, that's what Governor Adeleke is saying here now, that there is a substituting order of the Court of Appeal that says that judgment should be stayed. Further proceedings should be stayed in the matter of the eligibility of these political parties that was taken to the Federal High Court. The appeal court said a judgment should be stayed in the delivery of it should be stayed. So I do not know, but now that the Federal High Court has gone ahead despite the substituting order to deliver this verdict, so I'm wondering what next option is open to the affected political parties. The matter, well, they're still at the level of the Federal High Court now, so I don't know if they will again be appealing that particular judgment.
Yes, and I'm sure, well, like something is fishy here. Yeah, something is fishy here, and you know, most times when courts give judgments, you know, most parties don't observe that judgment. They don't obey. So I will see whether INEC will obey this one or not.
The provisions of the judgment, it says there in the judgment, Justice Lifu barred INEC from further according recognition to the parties, accepting nomination of candidates from the affected parties, or giving effects to their activities for the purpose of participating in the 2027 general elections. In the same vein, the judge directed the parties to stop parading themselves as registered political parties in the country. That's very interesting.
Yes.
And I wonder, some members of these political parties, I believe some of them are still in the National Assembly. So is it that, well, I don't know, is it that their seats are no longer, I don't know whatever the interpretation is going to be, Bimbo.
Well, we'll see what happens.
And it says there, by the judgment, former vice president and presidential candidate of the ADC, Atiku Abubakar, has no platform to stand for the forthcoming presidential election. Similarly, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke built to recontest in the August 15 governorship election, and that's quite near on the platform of Accord Party. We will have no party to run in the election.
So, well, if this holds, what will Governor Adeleke do now?
I'll wait and see, but I think Bibo is quite unimaginable that Governor Adeleke will be pulled out just like that, from the race in Osun State.
Well, former vice president and presidential candidate of the ADC, Atiku Abubakar, he has condemned the judgment, saying it was a threat to Nigeria's multi-party democracy and an attempt to weaken opposition forces ahead of the 2027 general elections.
Meanwhile, the ADC has confirmed Rotimi Amechi as vice presidential candidate is to be running mate to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Let's hope that the judgment.
I think initially Mr. Amechi was one of the aggrieved parties after the primaries, and he was the one that was it one that General Abubakar that pardon me, that ex-vice president Atiku Abubakar went visiting to mend fences with him after the primaries. Now he has agreed to be Atiku Abubakar's running mate. Okay. We also have this one. Kwara APC Elders Caucus suggests Danladi calls for change of governorship candidate, and another Elders Caucus backs him. I wish them all the best. And okay. Well, back to security matters in Oyo State. We are using technology to aid freedom of abducted people's teachers in Oyo, says Police DIG Southwest. Okay, let's quickly take some excerpts from that. That's an update on efforts to rescue the Orire hostages. The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Information, Communication and Technology and the Southwest Geopolitical Zone, DIG Adigoke Fayade, has assured the people of Oyo State that technology is already in use to free the students and people abducted in Orire local government area, stating that it was just a matter of time and they would be out. The DIG gave the assurance on Monday at the headquarters of Oyo State Police Command during its official tour of the state. I know the reason that I sometimes take these narratives with a pinch of salt, and at times I'm not impressed. I'm not a security operative like I always say, but I don't think anything you want to do to rescue those hostages should be made public. If you are saying it publicly like this, that you are deploying technology and all that, of course, from what we have seen, the terrorists themselves, those who abducted the Orire teachers and the pupils, also have this this capacity, this technical capacity that you are talking about. So of course, if you are telling them that they are under surveillance, that you are watching them, and know that you are letting them know that they are being watched, of course they would want to look into whatever type of technology you are using to see how they can breach it. My thoughts here, my opinion here. So for me, it looks like the DIG is talking too much. And then I know Governor Shemak, give it to him anytime. He will just tell you that efforts are on, and would also make you know that disclosing what exactly those efforts and strategies are could undermine the rescue operations. So if the DIG is saying this, it's either maybe it's been prudent or economical with the truth, because I believe him as a top security officer, he wouldn't be bearing all this if indeed there's something like that was on. But I want to believe in Bimbo. It's just that I think he should be a bit more prudent with his words.
Yes, is divulging too much information. Now, yeah, back to some politics again. Former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar. You remember that former retired General Abdulsalami Abubakar, launched a book. During his, I think 80th or 84th birthday or so, and so he disclosed some things inside that book, and he disclosed that when General in some paragraphs there, some pages there, he disclosed that when General Oluyole came to see him after his release from prison in 1998, he advised him point blank to abandon the idea of contesting the presidential election. He said he told him at the time to go home, thank God he was alive, and forget about becoming president. Abdulsalami also revealed that at the same meeting he talked Obasanjo out of filing a lawsuit against the federal government over his wrongful imprisonment, warning him that the court process was uncertain and offering instead to explore compensation for the collapse of his business during his years of detention. And the accounts are contained in chapter 22 of Abdulsalami's 264-page 27-chapter autobiography called Call of Duty, obtained by Punch correspondent at the public presentation of the book at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja.
Bimbo, from what we know, it wasn't General Obasanjo that decided himself that he wanted to run for president. It was actually an arrangement. From what I'm surprised General Abubakar is saying this, it was actually an arrangement to bring him out of prison and practically hand over the presidency to him on a platter of gold. It was seen by the major stakeholders, including the international community, who believed to have been involved, although no one would have admitted, believed to have also been involved in the deaths of General Abacha and Chief MK Abiola, and seeing that as the best way to settle the ripples in the Nigerian political storm. So they brought General Obasanjo out of prison, and they felt that was the only way that they could compensate, especially the southwest region. That was how it wasn't as if left to the man, he would have gone back quietly to his farm, and maybe he would have received some form of compensation. But then and they said, and from what we also know, Bimbo, maybe what General Abuka is an insider, so maybe we cannot totally throw away what he's saying, but from what we know, until General Abuka came up with this story, is the fact that General Obasanjo was also the only person that was acceptable to the North at that time. If indeed they were going to agree that the presidency should go to the Southwest as a form of compensation for what happened to Chief MK Abiola. So I don't know, but like I said, he is the insider. Maybe he should know what we do not know. But that is the narrative that many Nigerians have regarding what happened.
So another statement that retired General Abubakar Abdulsalami said that is puzzling me now here is, he said he warned Abdulsalami that the court process after which Obasanjo said he was going to file a lawsuit against the federal government over his wrongful imprisonment, he warned him that the court processes was uncertain. Yes, uncertain. That means as a former military person or military president then, so he knew that the court processes were uncertain.
Yeah, that was because the courts were under their control. And probably no one would listen to the general. If indeed he wanted to go to court, maybe he just wanted to make a statement. And okay, we have this one, remember, coming from the UK now. It says UK announces ban on social media for under 16s. Now, if it had been in Nigeria that they did this now, it would have been that serious uproar, and they are trying to stifle young minds. They are trying to prevent them from exploring and all that. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Monday announced a forthcoming total ban on social media for children under 16, saying that such platforms are making children unhappy.
Oh.
Starmer said that the government will ban access to social media for all children under the age of 16, warning that these platforms are exposing them to content that is dangerous and designed to be addictive. The government said the ban will include platforms like Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X, but not messaging services such as WhatsApp. He added that he hoped to pass the regulation by the December and for the ban to come into force in spring next year.
Well, it might work over there, but I'm sure not in Nigeria.
It can work if the government is serious. I think we will need stricter regulations than the one the British Prime Minister has introduced. And why do I say this? Just as an example, you see the way people, when unpleasant things happen, look at the Oluyole abductions, for instance.
Yes.
It's as if some people actually feed off the pains of others, and they become very happy when this kind of things happen. They take to social media and start posting all manner of fake news, all manner of false reports
and pictures,
and posting pictures as far back as 10 years ago, and saying that, oh, the Oluyole children are being beheaded, the Oluyole abductees, stones are being placed on the necks of the children, and all that. They show all sorts of insensitive pictures. They share insensitivity of people, and they share irresponsibility on the part of some people when it comes to using social media. You see the pastor, two pastors indeed, one in Ogun State and one here in Ibadan, that were posting fake news about a bandit invasion of certain communities, and it goes on and on. So if the government decides to introduce this regulation, with them all the way.
Well, if I know Britain, the United Kingdom, yes, can impose this kind of regulation, it will work. I know it will work, but here in Nigeria, it might not work. Yes, it might not work. Now, this one here just looks kind of funny to me. Federal government to roll out 10,000 electric tricycles to Nigerian market in August.
Electric tricycles?
Yes, when we are not even we are not done with the CNG phase. We are facing electric tricycles now. Where will they be charging their tricycles?
Well, ideally, there should be power outlets. Like if this thing goes full blast, of course, there will be places very much like the filling stations, but then only that when they will be selling electricity. That's the way it's supposed to be in an ideal situation. So that's why I'm asking the question. Even CNG, what has happened to CNG?
That is what I'm saying.
Why is the outcome, especially the state governors, why are they so disinterested in this matter of CNG? They are the ones that should have complemented the efforts of the federal government. By now, CNG should have been bimbo. Of course, a cheaper means of energy, of powering vehicles and all that. But I don't know why the governors are so uninterested. They're the ones, talking about replicating CNG in their respective states.
Yes. And well, the CNGs, like I said, they are not done. They are trying to face electricity now, electric vehicles. I watched a clips talking about the electric cars. Electric cars or vehicles are synonymous with the Chinese, Japanese, and all those. I saw this one in Britain. The charging points are just built, like you said, petrol stations. You just park your car. If you want to charge your car, you just plug it somewhere. Just leave it. If you want to do one business or the other, just go and do your business around the area. And come back, pick your car when it is full, or when it is half full or quarter full. But I don't know how that one will work. Yeah, I don't know. And well, the federal government is set to roll out 10,000 electric tricycles for use as part of a broad plan to ease public transportation across Nigeria. That was what was said about the CNG then when it was being introduced. The tricycles will be distributed by the Northeast Development Commission (NEDC) in August 2026 for use across the Northeast region and beyond. And the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, who disclosed this during a courtesy call by the transporters for Tinubu Shettima 2027, said The president has approved the replication of the initiative in other parts of the country by the various regional development commissions. Well, that is what is on ground. Shetima explained that the federal government's transport reform agenda was anchored on the nationwide rollout of compressed natural gas, major port upgrades, and a stronger logistics chain.
Quickly, as we open the phone lines, some more human angle headlines, and then
yes,
this one, Bimbo. Police bust brothel inside Lagos markets where underage girls are forced to sleep with multiple men under influence of drugs. Rescue 13 teenage girls.
Yes.
And the FCT, suspected cook logistics supplier to kidnappers, gives birth in police custody. As police arrest man who chained sister for almost 2 years.
And talking about the ladies that are forced to sleep with multiple men. This one, yes, I think it is a part of. She's part of those ladies here. Emotions ran high at the Lagos State Police Command yesterday when a 16-year-old girl, Chidinma, narrated how she was allegedly trafficked from Imo State to Lagos and forced into prostitution for 4 months, during which she was made to sleep with 30 men daily, beaten repeatedly, and denied payment. Oh God.
30 men?
Yes, daily, every day. I can see a picture of them, of the rescued girls. I can see it here. Yes, men conveyed to the police station. 30 men every day. 16-year-old girl. Rather unfortunate.
Right, let's open the phone lines. 070-5555-1985. That is the number to call.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you, Mr. Ojo Michael. Well, we are told that he has been buried. We cannot readily confirm, but we are told that he has been buried.
I want to bring something out. You said stop here. This is what I back and these terrorists came out from their bush, from their hands, to present the cops to the Kaduna State government. And they went back to that bush. Nothing was done. If truly that picture, I saw the picture yesterday, rather. If truly that picture is true, or the cement under is true, that means Nigeria is in trouble. Because how will a terrorist come from the bush and over the coffin hand over the coffin to the state government and went back to their bush. The name of the bush was the forest was named. And they cannot trace them, they cannot neutralize them. Nigeria is in big trouble. Big trouble. God bless you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
As we speak, that narrative can still not be confirmed, and the government authorities in Katsina, the federal government and the military are also not saying anything to confirm or deny where those pictures we saw are actually true.
Yeah, and Tola, you remember when you read that story, it was not stated in that story yesterday how the body was retrieved and whether it had been buried or not.
You didn't even mention anything about the body or the burial.
The burial, yes. Yes, we'll take a break now and we'll be back.
Wake up. It's choco time. Donna Choco is here with a taste you love. Just open door and enjoy the chocolating ride. Donna Choco 3-in-1. Taste it, love it. Donna Choco 3-in-1. I love it.
Introducing the new Dano Choco 3-in-1. It's tasty, creamy, and satisfying. Taste it, love it.
Right, we're back and there's still conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bruno.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Those guys brought this voter cup, the voter contest, even with the wife. with the living wife. Those guys brought it to the public, and everybody saw them. Oh, they marked their face. They dropped the dead body and went back. It was confirmed plainly. Even the government officials confirmed it that they brought the corpse. But because they have the cabin, they have the wife with them, the security authorities could not do anything. And still not take government as a partner them. They went back to the forest. Now, the soldiers won't take it. They now launched an attack. I think it was yesterday. They rescued the woman and they shot one of those guys off. The rest ran away. And that is the part I don't want to hear. How will terrorists run away? Why can't you have a confidential plan that whenever they run to, finish them up there? Those guys does not deserve to live. Why? In what has happened could give them that they said that they repel them, fine, good. They repel them from capturing anybody in this way or that. But they said they disappeared to the forest again. Why can't the Nigerian Air Force immediately, 15 minutes after, 20 minutes after, take over that forest and finish everything that is there? I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, for that.
All right. So if the situation is that they actually dropped the remains and then government officials came to pick it, it means there was some channel of communication, some understanding that just give us the body and then we'll come pick the body, and the terrorists did just that.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Katola Mr.
Good morning.
I'm a buyer of I speak from Oluyole.
Good to have you, sir.
I'm happy many of the contributors, they have said it now that these people actually brought the corpse. It's a very big shame on our country. And the irony of it is this. Now, you didn't make that operation when the general was alive. People were here for some days. Now, it was 2 days after the corpse was delivered. Now you said, no, you are going to deal with them, and you said you went there. Nobody was arrested and nothing whatsoever. And at the same time, you are now even telling us the condition which when the man died. This country, it's a very sad day for our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I remember the late General Abubakar's son was actually saying, I think it was yesterday, that the details are not clear to them as to how they recovered their father's corpse. Yes. So, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. And I even said that their father did not die of diabetics.
He even said that.
Yes.
But, he said their father did never have diabetes. He said the man was never a diabetic patient.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is a computer.
Good to have you, Mr. Computer.
God bless you, sir. Sir, are you not afraid? Are you not so afraid, like myself here, about the terrorists? The mission of this party, kidnappers, is beyond abducting people and collecting one's reward. It is beyond one black. But let me tell you sincerely, their immediate thing is to overwhelm the country and seize power from our social leaders. Unfortunately, our leaders and those in the positions of authority are only good at turning the face of state-body events to political campaigns, saying, we have done that. Where have they been nothing? As far as insecurity in the country is concerned, our leaders lack political will, foresight. In fact, they are weak points. What preventive measures are they taking to stop the massive killings going in our country? Whenever they are seeing of such killings and abductions, they will express their condolences, talk tough, make promises, and go waiting for another disaster to happen. Is this what we call government? First, we are already in the state of anarchy in this country. The government, I mean the federal government, has lost its power to the insurgents. Don't you believe that? Okay, let me tell you this. The activities of the insurgents has overshadowed that of the government. If at all the government has any activities than 2027 and general election, I don't know what is the prime issue today in Nigeria? Killings, adulthood. So we have the insurgent governing the country, whether the government knows or accepts it.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kombedebere. But don't you think the sponsors and those who run these terrorist organizations could also be among the governments that you are talking about? That is why it's not likely that they would want to overrun the government. That is why the government will not be afraid of them. The only people that will be afraid of them is you and I. We are the only ones that will be afraid of them because we are their targets, ordinary Nigerians. I want you to look at it from that angle as well, Mr. Akombi Adebayo.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My brothers.
Good morning. Good to have you, sir.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Yes.
It's quite unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. An army general, whether retired or serving, it's not a disgrace to the nation that we can lose such great man who has contributed immensely to the security of this country. And you see, people continue to flank their agbada all about as if nothing happened. And the conspiracy where this one came from, I know rescue him. This group, you see, we believe that we are well known all over the world as brave men. And we can lose our gallant officers easily in war with the ants, the rabbits. I do not believe that, like you have said, that there are most within the various forces, within the government. They know now, they are even people accusing some other people, some people in the government. How will you not tackle the security headlong? How will you not be willing to face, because they are free. They go about with soldiers, with police, with wrecking of, covers of armed men. So they are free. But it's quite unfortunate. I don't know when this one will end. If Bono could reintegrate 2,000 armed, people have killed, maimed, and murdered their own. And you leave the victims uncompensated, unguarded. They consider too. Said they reintegrated 700 plus. All these people that reintegrated in society will go back and feed their members. They cannot, you see, these evil people can never change. Only government should take the bull by the horn and face this challenge headlong.
Yes,
that is the only way we can be rescued.
Yes, thank you very much. Where are you calling from, sir? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Makobo.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, we're squeezing one more call here before we leave on the program.
Also, 55551985. Okay. Right, check your time at 7:30, and we have to go. Been an interesting time on conversation. We'll be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akambi. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your day.
Conversation.
PCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV app ṣe ti rí pé no be play na reality confam ni ẹ ṣá máa wá kárí ayé o PCOS to the world PCOS ilé akéde.
ẹ̀yin tí wà lóníyọ̀lé FM ṣe ti gbọ́ pé a ti wà lórí radio box ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ kẹ́ máa gbọ́ wa kedere ó kilẹ̀ létí ó milẹ̀ létí Olúyọ̀lé FM 98.5 Olúyọ̀lé lórí radio box app.
ẹ̀yin tí wà ní PCOS ṣe ti gbọ́ pé PCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV app ṣe ti rí pé no be play na reality confam ni ẹ ṣá máa wò wá kárí ayé o, This West to the world, This West ilé akéde.
BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV app lórí àtẹ ìkànnì ayélujára Naija TV ẹ̀ka tó ń pawó wọlé commercial department ti BCOS ilé akéde ló ní ká sọ fún gbogbo wa pé láti túbọ̀ máa jẹ̀gbádùn àwọn ètò ọlọ́kanjọ̀kan wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ rẹ ìwọ sá ti lọ sórí Google Play Store tàbí lórí Apple Store kó download Naija TV app NAIJA kó o wá fi space kan sílẹ̀ kó o tẹ TV ló bá tán bákan náà lórí ìkànnì Olúyọ̀lé 98.5 FM ẹ lè máa gbọ́ wa ketekete lórí Radio Box app kò le rárá láti lò lórí Play Store rẹ tàbí lórí Apple Store ìwọ sá ti tẹ Radio Box kó o sì download Radio Box app sórí fóònù rẹ ló bá tán kó o bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jẹ̀gbádùn àwọn ètò wa ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan lórí Olúyọ̀lé 98.5 FM kó o sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jẹ̀gbádùn ayé díjítà nípa wíwo BCOS ilé akéde lórí Naija TV níbikíbi tó o bá wà lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára kárí ayé. TS Charity ẹni fẹ́ ṣàríyá o gbogbo ẹni fẹ́ ṣàjọ̀dún àbẹ́ni fẹ́ ṣèpàdé o gbogbo ẹni fẹ́ ṣènáwó BCOS event grand òun yẹn máa bọ̀ BCOS event grand òun ló kájọ ẹ̀ fún gbogbo ayẹyẹ èyí tẹ́yìn bá fẹ́ ṣe BCOS event grand òun yẹn máa bọ̀ o.
bóyá wá gbé mi débẹ̀ yóò.
ilé akéde.
bóyá wá gbé mi débẹ̀ yóò.
BCOS event grand.
BCOS event grand níbi tílẹ̀ ti tẹ́jú àyè ìgbọ́kọ̀sí ń bẹ ìyẹn pọ̀já burata BCOS event grand ìyẹn nílé akéde oríta Báṣọ̀run nílùú Ìbàdàn BCOS event grand òun yẹn máa bọ̀ o. ohun tá à ń sọ ni pé fónírúurú ayẹyẹ tẹ́yìn bá fẹ́ ṣe ó ti wù kó fẹjú tó BCOS event grand òun ló kájú ẹ̀ òun ló káàtó ṣókùú àgbà lẹ́yìn fẹ́ ṣe ni tàbí ìgbéyàwó tàbí birthday tàbí open year crusade ó sì jẹ́ book launch ní tiyín ni ẹ máa bọ̀ ẹ̀yẹ sá ti kàn sí wa ní yàrá kẹrin commercial department BCOS ilé akéde tàbí kẹ́ ẹ pè sórí BCOS customer care line tololong 0915-870-3300 BCOS event grand ilé àríyá fáwọn tó mọ bó ṣe ń lọ.
Oluyole FM 98.5.
What a beautiful morning right here in the studios of Oluyole 98.5 FM. You already know sports tidbits coming through right here on Oluyole 98.5 FM. And of course, we've given you several bites, including some of the updates that we got from the FIFA World Cup for the year 2026, presently ongoing in the USA, Mexico, and of course Canada. We have seen quite a plethora of games, looking at how everything is coming through. And yes, African teams are showing their own stuff out there. And of course, you also talk about some of the other sides showing immaculate stuff. Iran scored twice right there in the United States. Yes, I said score because someone said strike. Yes, they struck twice, found the back of the net, both times in one single game. And of course, that scoreline ensured that they actually have something to hold on to. And yes, you say they have a point in Trump's land. That's quite cheeky anyways. But then it was quite something to watch, all the action coming from the FIFA World Cup, where as of this morning it was Iran locking a 2-2 draw with New Zealand. New Zealand who had just getting just 2 goals. But then those 2 goals were fantastic goals, really. And of course, it was quite something looking at how Iran were able to get themselves back in shape, back in the middle of everything right there, ensuring it was a thrilling draw from Group G. Anyways, there was going to be some other action pieces, and there's just 2 more games going down today. Following suit in Iran's, Akachube. Iran opened the floor for us this morning. We know that Iraq will also do theirs against Norway. So let's see what Iraq will be able to cook against Erling Haaland, Odegaard and boys.
Deji the Hit.
Yes, of course, these were not the only games that we saw over the last past day. And of course, it's been incredible looking at action right there. Yesterday morning, we told you about the battles that happened between Ivory Coast and Ecuador. And Sweden's 5-1 victory over Tunisia. There is something that came after that particular one. But we also saw Spain against Cape Verde. We saw Saudi Arabia against Uruguay. And Belgium against Egypt. And guess what? All those three games ended up in a draw. Yeah. So 3 draws wrapped up the day, and then of course another draw began the day again, and it's just crazy. Fama Diallo, he scored right there to ensure that Ecuador got to victory. Yan Diamande spectacular on the night in Capie will be happy wherever he is now that the game is done. And of course a lot of people looking at Sweden, Isak and Gyökeres, both of them double trouble, and of course they showed Tunisia what it was right there. And yes, after the game we had rumors, we had a lot of things right there. We had stories coming through from different centers talking about the Tunisian coach, and now he is the first casualty. Well, a lot of people are talking about what exactly